Madhava Bihari Upjanna Vallabha Girivardhari Upjanna Vallabha Girivardhari Shodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Shodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vandachari Yamunatira Vandachari Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rāma Hare Rāma 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 Hare 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 Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rāma Hare Rāma 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 Hare 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 Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rāma Hare Rāma 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 Hare 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 Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rāma Hare Rāma 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 Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupāda Paramahamsa Parivekacārya Stotra Sattva Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada founder Acharya BBT ISKCON ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the third canto, 22nd chapter, which is called the Marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Text 34. Niṣṇātaṁ yoga-māyāsu munim svāyambhuvam manum yat ābhraṁśayituṁ bhogā śekur bhagavat-param niṣṇātaṁ yoga-māyāsu munim svāyambhuvam manum yat ābhraṁśayitum bhogā śekur bhagavat-param niṣṇātaṁ yoga-māyāsu munim svāyambhuvam manum yat ābhraṁśayitum bhogā śekur bhagavat-param Mataji. Yoga-māyāsu. ābhraṁśayitum bhogā bhagavat-param yoga-māyāsu. Niṣṇātaṁ, absorbed. Yoga-māyāsu, in temporary enjoyment. Munim, who was equal to a saint. Svāyambhuvam, Svāyambhuva Manu, Manu, yat, from which ābhraṁśayituṁ ābhraṁśayitum, to cause, to deviate. Bhogā, material enjoyments. Not. śekuḥ, were able. Bhagavat-param, who was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus, Svāyambhuva Manu, who was a saintly king, although absorbed in material happiness, he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life, for he always enjoyed his material happiness in a Krishna conscious atmosphere. Please repeat. Thus Svāyambhuva Manu was a saintly king. Although absorbed in material happiness, he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life, for he always enjoyed his material happiness in a Krishna conscious atmosphere. Purport. The kingly happiness of material enjoyment generally drags one to the lowest grade of life, namely degradation to animal life, because of unrestricted sense enjoyment. But Svāyambhuva Manu was considered as good as a saintly sage, because the atmosphere created in his kingdom and at home was completely Krishna conscious. The case is similar with the conditioned souls in general. They have come into this material life for sense gratification. But if they are able to create a Krishna conscious atmosphere as depicted here, or as prescribed in revealed scriptures by temple worship and household deity worship, then, in spite of their material enjoyment, they can make advancement in pure Krishna consciousness, without a doubt. At the present moment, modern civilization is too much attached to the material or sense gratification. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement can give the people in general the best opportunity to utilize their human life in the midst of material enjoyment. Krishna consciousness does not stop them in their propensity for material enjoyment, but simply regulates their habits in the life of sense enjoyment. In spite of their enjoying the material advantages, they can be liberated in this very life by practicing Krishna consciousness, by the simple method of chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rāma, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnudaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Sattvarudas Goswami Namne. Om Vishnudaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. So here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the kingly happiness of material enjoyment, generally, that's a general way, usually it drags one to the lowest grade of life, namely degradation to animal life, because of unrestricted sense enjoyment. Because the living entities come to the material world for enjoying the senses. So if one gets an extra opportunity by having a lot of wealth, then that can easily be misused. Because now I have money, and money means everything in the material world, so now I can enjoy. Because we also have seen that some devotees who are rich and who were inspired by Srila Prabhupada to use their wealth in the service of Lord Krishna, such as Ambarish Prabhu is building this beautiful, magnificent temple with his money as the seed money for such a wonderful project. So being rich is like an extra test. It's an extra test in spiritual life, because there is an extra temptation. And some can handle it and some cannot handle it. There are examples of karmis in the material world who win the lottery, gets a lot of money, and become completely bewildered, start using and misusing the money, and become even more unhappy than they were before they won the lottery. Generally, when people are simple and poor, then they are more susceptible to, they are more open for Krishna consciousness. And we see in the West nowadays, with all the advanced technology and everybody with their iPhone or their phone. Of course, India is not so different, but nowadays. But it's a huge distraction. It's a huge distraction in life. Because, again, the living entity comes to enjoy their senses. So here is, one can use the phone in a good way and one can use the phone in a bad way. But since the propensity of the living entity, the conditioned soul, is to want to enjoy, then they have the tendency to want to enjoy through whatever they get, included their phone. And the whole society, even education is directed, the parents direct their children to get a diploma. Parents are more concerned about getting a diploma than about the good character of their children. While, like Gurukul is very much focused on, of course also on education, but is very much focused on character training. Because the diploma one can earn in a few years, and one can get some job, some position with that. But character is for the rest of one's life. So if students can be trained in good character, good habits, then they will carry that for the rest of their life in all their relationships and all their contacts. That will shine through. Unfortunately, in the material world, they don't care so much about that aspect. They care about having that document, that diploma, with which they can then, get a job and money. So it is an important choice. So Prabhupada points that out in the Purport, in the first part of the Purport, that material wealth can degrade somebody. Now Svāyambhuva Manu, he was different. He was living very opulently. He was, having opulent clothing. He had many servants. He had a big palace. He was very much respected and glorified. He was ruler of the whole planet. One person, ruler of the whole planet. But his secret was that he kept Krishna in the center. And he lived according to the regulative principles. And in the morning they were chanting the holy names of the Lord. And in the evening, as we heard yesterday, in the evening they were reading the stories, hearing stories, pastimes of Lord Krishna, and that was rejuvenating everybody. And all the citizens who were looking up towards the leader, towards the king, they were also following in his footsteps. And he was enjoying it, because it is joyful. To be Krishna conscious is joyful. And to have Krishna in the center is as it should be. There is only one Supreme Personality of Godhead, with many manifestations and incarnations, etc. But our goal should be to develop love for Krishna. And if we go in that direction, then we will also be happy. And so that's the essence, the main message. It's to put Krishna in the center and to follow, to stay within the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness. And as we see from Svāyambhuva Manu, besides that, just the fact that he took care of these aspects, he was able to enjoy his spiritual life. One can be wealthy, and wealth can be a pitfall, but wealth can also, if one remains within that understanding that the essence of life is to develop love of Godhead, to keep Krishna in the center, and to follow regulative principles. Once we accept that deep in our heart, this is my mission, then we can be very happy within that mission, within that framework. And whatever brings us closer to Krishna, for somebody it may be austerity, it may be renunciation. Whatever brings us closer to Krishna, that is what we should do, because that's our mission. Developing the Vaishnava qualities. Why should we develop the Vaishnava qualities? Because again, that's going to help us. These qualities of humility, of honesty, of so many qualities, they are going to help us achieving the goal of developing love of Godhead. And that's why Srila Prabhupada, when he met devotees, he didn't put the bar very high. He said, just add Krishna to your life. Whatever you are doing, okay, you are an accountant, be an accountant, add Krishna to your life. And then, of course, some devotees came even more close and came to live in the temple, etc. But Srila Prabhupada didn't say immediately, you have to do this, that. No. He said, just add Krishna to what you are already doing. And of course, certain things one cannot do. One cannot work in a slaughterhouse and be Krishna conscious. That doesn't go with the principles. Or selling liquor and be a devotee. Certain things one cannot, but most things one can do, and that's why Srila Prabhupada was encouraging the people to take that up. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very close with Ramananda Roy, one of the close associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He also was very, very rich, very wealthy. and highly advanced spiritually. And in one of the confidential talks of Lord Caitanya with Ramananda Roy, Lord Caitanya asked him, who is the greatest capitalist? Who is the best businessman? Lord Caitanya was asking. And Ramananda Roy answered, the best, most successful businessman is a bhakti yogi. And then he explained why. Because a bhakti yogi is, in this material world, has a material body which is worth nothing. What is the value of our body? Because it's a temporary vehicle of the soul. And he explained that a bhakti yogi uses his temporary body in the service of Krishna, and as a result, he gets an eternal spiritual body. And that is the best business deal one can get in this life. From this material body towards an eternal spiritual body after death, because the body is useless, so it stays behind. And as a result, by using it during our life in the service of Krishna, one gets an eternal spiritual body as a reward. So on the level of business deal, this is the best business deal. That's how Ramananda Roy explained it. So Prabhupada also saw Krishna's hand in everything. Everything that happened to him, he accepted everything as Krishna's arrangement. Like when Srila Prabhupada's business failed, or when he was living in Vrindavan, sometimes under austere circumstances, because sometimes the temperatures in Vrindavan, they go to almost zero, to almost freezing point, or very hot in the summer. So Prabhupada was very simple living, cooking for himself, etc. So anything that the Lord arranged, Srila Prabhupada, within his Krishna consciousness, he would accept it and see it as Krishna's arrangement. But whenever something went wrong, because his disciples spaced out, or his disciples forgot, then Srila Prabhupada was there to strongly point that out also. Because that's one of the duties of a spiritual master, is to correct his disciples. And sometimes Srila Prabhupada's corrections were very strong, loaded with energy. And but for his whatever, traveling is very austere. Srila Prabhupada traveled several times around the planet at old age. So traveling is very austere, standing in queue, then food may come, may not come, this, that, delays, etc., etc. Srila Prabhupada always tolerated it. Except when his disciple messed up the schedule or didn't buy the ticket in time or whatever, then Srila Prabhupada would correct that devotee. For the devotee's spiritual advancement, not for his own anger or for his own discomfort, but just to, in his role as spiritual master, for the benefit of the disciple. We have the example of Raghunath Goswami, who was from a very rich family, the Zamindar family. They were collecting money in West Bengal, in a big area, collecting the taxes, and then they had to give X amount to the government, to the king, and then they kept a particular amount for themselves. So his family was very rich, and he was the only son in the family. And the parents saw his tendency for spiritual life. So they thought to trick him, and they married him with a very beautiful young girl, very attractive young girl. But nothing worked on him in that sense. So then when he came to Jagannath Puri to be with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when his time came, then he wanted to be very renounced. Coming from such a rich background, he felt the urge to become very renounced and to eat very little, to wash out of the practically the gutter from the temple, wash the remnants of the rice until the harder part of the rice remained, and then with a little salt he would eat that. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at one point even wanted to snatch that from his hand, because he was saying, "What nectar are you eating?" But Svarup Damodar didn't like that. He says, "My Lord, this is not for you." But Lord Chaitanya was pleased with Raghunath's tendency to take up such austere activities, such austere lifestyle, and the Lord was very, very happy because by eating very little, one has more energy naturally. And if one then uses that extra energy in the service of Krishna, then one can become more Krishna conscious. One can live an opulent life, one and become Krishna conscious. One can have an austere life and become Krishna conscious. But Lord Chaitanya gave special preference to that austere life. We see also all the 6 Goswamis. When they were advanced in age, they were just drinking a cup of buttermilk. 1 cup of buttermilk in a day, sleeping very little, active the whole day, in bhajan, offering obeisances, preaching, writing, teaching. So this extra energy they had came from living very, very simple. And that was very pleasing to the Lord. But it was something which was done naturally. This is not something that one can imitate. Austerity is fine as long as we don't do it for power or for aggrandizement or anything like that. Living austere is good, but it has to be natural. For the 6 Goswamis, they were so busy that they forgot about eating and sleeping. And we sometimes, when we have to fast a day, then we become a little uneasy, or even in the family can be some argument between husband and wife, just based on the fact of not eating for one day. So it has to be natural. I wanted to read something about Srila Prabhupada that because he reflected on his mission to preach in the West. And he was telling that what I will be reading. In 1954, I was at that time 58 years. So I left home and I was living alone. Then in 58, 4 years later, I took sannyas. And then I decided to take up the responsibility of my Guru Maharaj. I thought that my other God brothers are trying. So I am not capable to do it. They are even better situated. But somehow or other, they could not do very much. So when I was 70 years old, I decided now I must do and execute the order of my Guru Maharaj. And thus this movement was started in 1965 from New York. And I was not very much hopeful, because it is a difficult task, just opposite to the European and Western culture. Still, I came. And when I first came, I had no money. So I got a free passage through some Indian steam navigation company. So I came by ship. So when I was on the ship at Boston Port, Commonwealth Port, I was thinking that I've come here, I do not know what is the purpose, because how the people will accept this movement. There are different educated, they are differently educated. And as soon as I will say, so my dear sir, you have to give up meat eating and illicit sex and no intoxication and gambling, they will say, please go home. Because that was the experience of one of my God brothers. He went to London and he had the opportunity to talk with one big man, Marquis of Zetland. He was the formerly the governor of West Bengal. At that time, when he was in West Bengal, I was a student. He was a Scotsman, and I was student of the Scottish Church's College. So he came to see our college, and he was standing in front of me. when Srila Prabhupada was a student in that college. He was standing in front of me in the second year class. So he was very nice, good gentleman. So he proposed to my godbrother, "Can you make me a Brahmana?" So my godbrother proposed, "Yes, we can make anyone Brahmana, provided you follow the principle, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meeting, no gambling." So when Lord Zetland heard that, he immediately replied, "Impossible." So I was thinking that I will propose something which is impossible. Anyway, let me try. There is also the example of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, where Gadadhar Pandit, he was very close to Mukunda Datta, and they had a task that when somebody important came to Navadvip, like a saintly person came to Navadvip, then they would arrange accommodations for that. Just like we have here a VIP department. So when some governor or minister comes, then they take care of him nicely, of them. So Mukunda Datta was doing that together with Gadadhar, assisted by Gadadhar Pandit. So then Mukunda Datta one day said that Pundarik Vidyanidhi is coming. He is a very saintly person. And Gadadhar Pandit was looking forward. He was very eager to see and meet Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So then they both went to meet him in his place in Navadvip. And when Gadadhar Pandit saw Pundarik, then he appeared in his eyes very much like a materialist. Very wealthy clothes, and he was wealthy, so he showed his wealth by the way how he was dressed and his entourage. So then Gadadhar Pandit thought, "Oh my God, I thought we were going to meet a saintly person, but is that a mistake or what's happening here?" So then Mukunda Datta, who was a singer, he sung hearing Mukunda Datta singing, yeah, so that song was about Krishna Lila. So there was a song about the pastime of Lord Krishna, which Mukunda Datta sung very sweetly in the presence of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi, upon hearing this sweet pastime of Lord Krishna, he became ecstatic. He became to crying, started crying. He started a little later rolling over the ground and in ecstasy. And he even at some point lost consciousness. So then with God, very concerned for his own spiritual life. What did I do? I misunderstood, I miscalculated this person. So then he was thinking the only way I can make up for this is by asking him to give me diksha, to initiate me. Which then Pundarik Vidyanidhi accepted, and then eventually he became Gadadhar Pandit. Of course, these are all pastimes, but it's a pastime that fits in the Bhagavatam of today, in the sense, again, that to develop love of Godhead, one can from different backgrounds of wealth, or being very austere, or in between, one can develop, provided that we put Krishna in the center of our daily activities, and provided we follow the principles, and we embrace these principles as our lifestyle, we accept them. At the end, Srila Prabhupada ends this purport with a Maha Mantra, so, which is very appropriate, because this Maha Mantra is non-different from Krishna, and it is purifying our heart. And just in Kali Yuga, just based on the chanting of the holy name, we can achieve Krishna consciousness. We can achieve to become pure-hearted. So love of Godhead can be obtained through the chanting of the holy name. And that's why we have all this, we have the basic rules of to be followed. We have the 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra. So that's like, and then lots of opportunity to do devotional service. So that makes it all in one packet, to absorb us in the morning, through the morning program, through the evening, hearing Krishna's pastimes, and in this way, whatever is our individual particular situation, we can all work on our going back to Godhead through this venue, in this way. So I will end here. We say one more time the Maha Mantra. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rāma, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There is one question or a comment, and we can.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as we see in this pastime, and you also mentioned some of the contrary pastimes like of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Svāyambhuva Manu and Raghunath Das Goswamiji, where one of the devotees, they are stressing a lot on the renouncing, and the other one, they are stressing more or exemplifying to be Krishna conscious irrespective of their externals. So what comes to my mind is that we aspire for that renouncing also, and we see
We inspire
for that austerity, that level of the austerities, and that is in all not necessary also, like we see in this pastime, because it's external only. So how to see that, Prabhupada, that contrast? Like we are aspiring for that, but that is externals we are aspiring for. At some of the, and for the some of the devotees, it may not be required or manifest in their life.
We all have a different background, especially here in Mayapur, from so many countries. So then according to our situation, where we at, and also according to our personal attraction, just that Raghunath Das Goswami, he was not instructed by Lord Caitanya, now you have to take the rice left over from the temple. It was his own, his own desire to live simple, in contrast with the way he was brought up. Due to his personal advancement he already had, he wanted to he wanted that his energy is even more directed towards the Lord than what you get in a normal. When you eat 2-3 times a day, then you get also energy, but if you fast, and then you get even more energy. So he wanted that more energy, more intensity, more dedication to show to the Lord. So that was his personal choice. And Lord Caitanya was very pleased with that choice, because it was done in the right, with the right desire, with the desire to be more Krishna conscious. If it would have been to get some mystical power, it would be a different thing. But it was simply to see himself more as an instrument in the hands of Krishna, that he did that. So each of us, we have to see what goes well with our spiritual life and with our path back to Godhead, what stimulates us the most, and of course there are general things like studying the Bhagavatam and doing these courses, Bhakti Shastri course, Bhakti Vaibhava. These are all very nice ways of or having a study group at home, having a study group with some other devotees, discussing the Bhagavatam, or in the evening reading Krishna book, and so many possibilities there are for each of us to see what fits best in our daily program, and according to the way how we function best. So that's nice that possibility is there. And for some it will be austerity, for some it will be even wealth, for some it will be, but everything within the parameters of Krishna consciousness. So we will stop here. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki